Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. So today we are doing the wiring for a very small basement. As you can see, it's very small, but the problem is there are still the existing wiring from before. As you can see, like the outlets are hanging and the lights are hanging. These are all existing. The way that we trace these wires and we do so-called cleanup is like we know some of these wires has gone upstairs and they are feeding upstairs, but these are our list of the problems, because the main problem of us is to clean up the basement wiring. The way that we need to do it is we need to find out where the electrical panel is. Like in this specific house, the electrical panel is here, so most likely the power has been started somewhere from here. So what we need to do is we need to find the nearest ceiling box. Before, on those days, they used to bring the power to the ceiling box and spread it from the ceiling box. So the nearest ceiling box that I could find from the panel is this ceiling box, and I traced this wire. This wire is going to the other room and it's feeding the other room, and from the other room is going to feed some outlets in main floor. But as I said, that's our list of the problem, because we can give power to those outlets later from the new outlets that we are running. So here we have lots of wires. Let me test that. Like this one, most likely it's a switch wire. It's going to the switch. This one is the return from the switch, and this one is the neutral for the existing fixture that used to be here. But this one is the power, and the way we gonna turn it off and remove the wiring from here is I'm gonna tell you how you need to do it, but I'm not gonna show it on here because it's kinda against the code. So the problem is, yeah, I could just turn off the whole power, but the problem is, as you can hear, the alarm is ringing, and it means the battery backup of the alarm is gone, and if I turn off the power, the alarm would go off. So what I do usually is I short the line with the ground wire. So I put it on the pause and I do it. Just give me a second. Okay, the job is done, and as you can see, there is no power on here. So you start by untwisting these wires. I untwist these wires, or you can simply cut them, because we don't need these anymore. Like, we don't need any of these anymore. You can cut them, it's easier for you to pull it later. So I start by cutting these wires and removing the cables one by one until we get to the single cable. It's gonna be either one of these that's feeding everywhere. I put it on the pause, I remove the unwanted cables, and I come back. So I removed the wirings, and you don't need to be gentle with these wires, because you want to make sure that you will change these wires. It's not against the code to keep these, but it's better and it's more professional to change these wires as much as you can. And at least bring your feeder cables to the nearest outlet or to the nearest junction box. I'm gonna remove these cables like that. You don't need to be gentle with them. So I remove these cables and I continue. So an update on the job. I removed all the wiring and I pulled them back as much as I could. So one of the wiring, as I said, is coming from the panel. That's a feeder. The other wire is going to the other room, and another wire is feeding an outlet in the main floor. As you can see, it's gone up. But we have a problem here, and this wire is going to this junction box. Remember always to check for the power in the junction box, even if you tripped one of the breaker, because no one knows what is going on these old houses. Like I checked, this one didn't have power, this one didn't have power, no power, but this one is live. So again, I will trip this wire like so, like so. So shouldn't be any other power in the system. Nope. I paused the video and I removed the other loads and see where they are going. So another update, and that's the reason that I told you, try to change this old wire as much as you can. As you can see over here, the wire was touching the hot water line and the jacket is kind of melt away. So you need to trace these cables as much as you can and try to change them. And another update, so I removed the junction box that used to be there and I traced the wiring. This one is going for the main floor outlet. We're gonna run the new wire for outlet and get power from one of the new outlets. We calculated them and we left enough space on the feeder line to run for the main floor outlet. So the way that we're gonna do it, I will show you, but for now we tape the new wires to the end of the old wire. We just simply pull the wires so it goes to the main floor. Another cable was going to outlet in the basement, and again from basement outlet to the main floor outlet. We're gonna run that one as well. From here, this cable, I haven't traced it yet, but it's going to somewhere in the basement. I'm gonna trace it. It's not likely that it's the feeder. I will let you know when I find out. Okay, so all the cleanup is done. What we were left with is two feeders over here that we will cancel them, and we have 1 and 2 and 3 wires for this room, that they are all for the main floor outlets. What we want to do is we bring this wire and this wire and we make a junction box over here and we run a feed to the junction box, and that's it. Because we don't know where the power has gone to the main floor. Is it for just 2 outlets, or is it for 2 outlets and the whole floor lighting? No one knows. And for this outlet, what we wanna do is we're gonna bring a line for lighting. So the line for lighting will cover the pot lights and ceiling light on these two gang box. The outlets supposedly only, the outlet for the main floor and for the washroom area. On this room we are left with this wire, and yeah, I remember that I told you try to change the wiring as much as possible, but the problem is they have cemented these wires and there is no way that we can pull the wires. So this wire, we put a junction box over here and we bring a power from the outlet beside it. There was another outlet that's gone up, and we're gonna take it from the lighting system. Here is gonna be a ceiling light that I've marked. So we bring this power to the ceiling light, and the last one is for this wire that we feed it through the outlets. So in total we're gonna need to bring 4 feeders for this basement, and the 2 of them will cover the existing wiring and the other 2 will cover the new wiring. Thank you for watching and see you next time.